Hey everybody, we're back with another episode of The Station. So this time we are joined with Gabriel Vianna. He's our co-principal investigator of our Shark Ecology and Conservation Program. So why are we here? Last week, the Scalloped Hammerhead shark got uplisted to Appendix 1 and the CMS, right? What happened here? Why is this so important, Gabriel? But first, I want to ask you, how did you end up here in Galapagos? Because you're a shark scientist. What is all of this about?
Okay, well, so I've been a shark scientist for about 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. And Galapagos has always been an amazing destination. Okay? It's a kind of Disneyland for shark people. So we always heard about the big schools of hammerheads and all the species of sharks that we can find here. And I've always known that I would be here in some stage, but I never thought that I would actually be working here. I thought I would be coming here with one of the expeditions that I used to do when I was either on my PhD or doing the work on my postdoc as well. But eventually, I got invited to apply for the position as a co-PI of the Shark Project. And we figured out, like Charles Darwin Foundation and me figured out that would be a good idea to come here and help to lead the project.
So where were you before here? You were in Australia, right? What were you? So you were doing shark tagging over there as well, shark investigation?
Yes.
You did your PhD there, right?
Yes. So in between Brazil and Australia, that's pretty much my professional life before coming to Galapagos. So I did my master's in ray ecology in Brazil, in the south of Brazil, studying electric rays, distribution, biology, and some other aspects related to conservation. And then when I went to Australia, I worked on dive boats for a while. So taking people to do shark diving and doing some shark research there as well on the East Coast and at the Great Barrier Reef and the Coral Sea. And then I moved to the West Coast to do my PhD. But in fact, I did my PhD in Palau, in Micronesia, studying the sharks, the shark populations there. So based in Australia, but doing a lot of work in Palau. From Palau, with some of the work that I did there, it opened doors for studies in other places. So I ended up doing a lot of work on the islands of Micronesia, Polynesia, and Melanesia. And then from that, eventually, I came to Galapagos.
So you come from a long shark investigation line, right? With this, right now, with the Scalloped Hammerhead shark getting uplisted, what was the work being done here at the CDF from your side? What were you doing to get to this point right now where we are? Okay,
so from that, we need to step back a bit and think about what CMS is. CMS is the Convention of Migratory Species. And what they do is try to regulate or protect the species that migrate between jurisdictions. And when we talk about jurisdictions, we usually talk about countries. So hammerheads are migratory species, all right? At least the scalloped hammerhead, which is our main focus here in Galapagos, is a migratory species. And what we did here at CDF was really showing what the movements of the sharks are in the region. So we do a lot of work on the north of Galapagos at the islands of Darwin and Wolf. And for years, we have been tagging sharks there with satellite tags. And these satellite tags, they let us know when the shark comes close to the surface. And as the tag emits a signal to a satellite, we can know exactly where the shark is in a given time. So what we've been seeing with tagging these animals with satellite tags is that they are doing predictable and transboundary migrations across the region in the Eastern Tropical Pacific. So the sharks that we've been tagging in Darwin and Wolf, they have been going all the way to the coast of Panama, to some areas that are known nursery areas for the species. And they are very likely pupping there. And then from there, what we've seen is that these sharks are going all the way out to international waters, to areas beyond national jurisdiction. So this shows that hammerheads do predictable migrations across jurisdiction, passing by different countries where they'll have different level of protections, but also where they are being exposed to different levels of fishing pressure. And this is something that CMS can help a lot by listing the sharks in Appendix 1 and provided them the highest level of protection. What does that mean? That means that these sharks should not be fished anymore across these jurisdictions, but also that critical habitats for them as these nursery areas or as these aggregations, either in Galápagos or in international waters, should be protected.
So fishing is no longer allowed for scallop hammerhead sharks in all the Eastern Tropical Pacific, technically?
Yes and no. It's a bit more complex than that. What CMS says is that the countries that are signatories should not be fishing hammerheads anymore. They are obligated to implement legislation that will protect these animals from fishing, but also protecting the habitats. And now there is a big but there. That's what's happening with them in areas beyond these national jurisdictions, the high seas, the international waters. And this is something that it cannot be fully addressed with CMS, but all the treaties that are starting to be implemented or discussed, like a BBNJ, for example, can help a lot with that. So essentially, what we have is different conventions dealing with different jurisdictions, and what we need is protection for these species and all the species that are either critically endangered or vulnerable. We need this protection across the range and across the conventions as well.
So these are the next steps for the scallop hammerhead, right? After the CMS, after this protection that has happened right now, we are doing what? CITES? What is it?
Okay, so one thing at a time. What we really need now is implementation, right? So this needs to go from paper to actually real actions that will protect these animals. So what we need now is that the signatory countries implement the national frameworks necessary to reduce the pressure. So fisheries regulation that will not just stop the landing of hammerheads, but actually reduce as much as possible the catch of these species, and also regulation that will protect the habitats, the important habitats like the nurseries or the aggregation sites. So what we really need now is that CMS start to be effective, that this protection actually happens, and hammerheads in these jurisdictions are not caught anymore, or that the mortality, the fishing mortality and the mortality at important areas like the nursery areas is reduced to the minimum.
So, Gabriel, what are your views for the future? What do you see here? What are the next steps?
So the next steps is for the countries to do the right thing and implement the regulation that they need to implement to revert this trend towards extinction. What we want to see is the numbers of hammerheads, of scalloped hammerheads increasing, and we want to see the populations recovering. We want to see more hammerheads, not just here in Galápagos, but we want to see baby hammerheads on the coast. We want the ocean to be full with these animals again. And that's the hope we have. No, otherwise, the other side is extinction.
That's the other side.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Gabriel, for giving us your time. I know you're very busy, so we're going to let you go and continue with your research for sure. And thank you, everybody, as well, for listening and for watching us as well. So see you on the next one.
Thank you very much.